Hello everyone, this is Kaustubh here from InsightStat and welcome to this next video. And in this video we will be looking at how to build the relationships between the tables. So till now we looked at, in this continuation of this series, we looked at the data models, we looked at what are fact tables and dimension tables. We looked at what are primary keys and foreign keys, how primary keys are only found in dimension tables, and how foreign keys are found in fact tables. Now in this tutorial we will be talking about how to connect the primary key to the foreign keys and how to finally establish the relationship between these islands. Now these are all islands, right? These are all standalone tables. There is no connection between these tables. So right now we will be bridging the gap between these tables and finally connecting them. Now, how do we connect these tables? So there are two ways of connecting them. One way is to just drag the primary key, click and drag the primary key from one table and hover it on the foreign key of the fact table. And you can do it the either way as well. You can click and drag the foreign key to the primary key as well. The second option is to click on Manage Relationships in the Home tab, in the Home ribbon, and that will open up a window for us. And through that window, we can either auto-detect relationships or we can create new relationships. Now we'll look at both the options and we'll talk about both of them. Okay, let's jump back to Power BI. Right. So we have our fact table here, the sales data table, and we have our dimension tables over here. Now, let's say I'm trying to connect the territory lookup table with the sales data table. So if you look at option number one, using option number one, all I have to do is click on this, click and drag the sales territory key to, let me just expand this table. I cannot see the territory key. Yes, there you go. So we click and drag the sales territory key to the territory key in the sales data table, which is the foreign key. So I'm clicking and dragging the primary key from a dimension table, that is the territory lookup table, to the foreign key, that is the territory key in the fact table or the sales data table. And it opens up this dialog box for us. So territory lookup table, we are connecting to sales data table using the sales territory key to the territory key. And the cardinality is being shown as 1 to many, which means one territory sales territory key in the territory lookup table can have multiple values in the sales data table, right? And we'll also talk about the cross filter direction in the upcoming videos. So this by default will be single. It will be selected single unless and until we go ahead and change it to any of the other values, that is both. Now, why should we not select both? We will talk about it in the upcoming videos, but for now we will keep it selected as single. And by default, cardinality will be a one to many relationship. One value in the dimension table will have many values, will be related to many values in the fact table, right? So we'll save this and look at this. So we have the relationship between the territory lookup table and the sales data table. Similarly, we can connect the customer lookup table and the sales data table as well. Now we'll look at the option number two. So here we go on Manage Relationships under the Home ribbon. Click on Manage Relationships. And here you can see we can create a new relationship or we can auto detect. Now auto detect will, as you can guess, it will automatically detect the relationship between all these tables. Sometimes it works well, sometimes it might not. So we have to go the auto detect way in a very careful manner. Now, if you know the relationship between the tables, if you know how your business works, then creating a new relationship from scratch is the best way to go forward. For that, you have to know your business, as I keep reiterating, and you have to know how these different tables relate to each other, right? So click on new relationship. It opens the same dialog box. Now, instead of this being pre-populated like we had when we went the click and drag option, this is blank. So now we have to select our dimension table here, which is the customer lookup table. We have to select our fact table here, that is the sales data table, and it automatically detects the relationship. But it is always a good habit to always check whether the correct keys are being selected or not. Again, this is a one-to-many relationship. One customer key in the customer lookup table can have multiple purchases in the sales data table, and this is by default will be single, and we click on save. There you go. We have our next relationship between the customer lookup and the sales data table. Now, if you look at the calendar lookup table and my sales data table, there are two dates here. I have the order date and I have the stock date. Now, which date should we select? Now, in this case, there can be two situations. One is called an active relationship and one is called the inactive relationship. Now, we'll talk about active relationship and inactive relationship in the next video. But for now, our active relationship, the relationship that we want, is between the date, that is the primary key here, and between the order date. We do not want the relationship, the active relationship, to be between the stock date, right? We want the date when the order was made, when the order was placed. So what do? We take date and we link it with order date, and it's one to many, and we'll save it. Okay, so my calendar lookup table and my sales data table has also been linked. Now, before I connect the product lookup table and the sales data table, just want to refresh your memories. Remember this table where we had the total order quantity by product name, and it was showing us the um, global total here, the entire total of the data set, right? Now, this was not the right way of doing it because we knew that the product lookup table and the sales data table were not connected. Hence, it was not showing the correct numbers here. Now, if I go ahead and take the product key and create our relationship here, we don't have to change anything. We see that the product key has been selected, highlighted. All I have to do is click on save. The connection has been made. Now let's go back to the table. Look at this now. It's no longer 84,174 displayed in all the rows. Since now my product lookup table is connected to the sales data table, now these are the correct numbers that is being displayed in this matrix. So this is the power of a data model, creating the correct relationships. Right now, for the product categories and the product subcategories, I will be talking about these two tables, how to connect these two tables when I talk about the star schema and the snowflake schema in a couple of videos. And then we will go ahead and connect these two tables so that we have better context of how to connect these two tables, right? And I think this is all I had to um, talk about in this video. So we talked about how to create this table relationship. So this is the third video in this series, and this will be the last video. And in the next video, we'll be talking about some more concepts related to data model. But if you want to create relationships between the different tables and how to go ahead and create relationships, this is how we go ahead and do it. So please try it at your end. And if you have any questions, please leave a comment, or don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. So that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching this video, and if you have liked this video, please subscribe and share the video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much.